Hi, Jim Dula here with Horizon Ag Tech. I wanted to show you a new feature inside Pix4Dfields, what I'm calling the Pixel Value ID tool. So what it does is it allows you to see the individual value of a pixel on an index layer like an NDVI map or an RGB orthomosaic. You can see the red, green, and blue value for each pixel. I'm going to show you how you can use it in a green on brown weed identification using multispectral data. So let's take a look at Pix4Dfields. So this is just a little bit of test imagery I collected a while back. This is on about 0.3 hectares, and the GSD on this multispectral imagery is 0.58 centimeters per pixel. So it's pretty high resolution multispectral imagery. So you can see there are some green weeds in the field, in a brown field. This multispectral orthomosaic will look a little bit different because it doesn't have the blue layer in it. So it doesn't look exactly as our eyes would see it in real life, but you can see some green weeds down here in the field. There's one weed here. This one, we'll look at the annotation. This one's about 6 centimeters in diameter. And because we have a really low GSD, we do have enough pixels on this target to be able to identify it. Some of the other weeds in the field, this one is about 25 centimeters in diameter. And then you can see some others scattered throughout. So what we'll do first is we'll go in and we'll generate our NDVI layer. Now if you come down to where these weeds were, you can see that there's holes. It's because the NDVI isn't representing, these are essentially outliers in the field. So there's not enough of them. If we increase the histogram over here, then they'll start to show up, not as holes, but as bright green dots. And you can kind of see the difference between the weeds in the field and then the brown fallow field. I like looking at NDVI and grayscale. I think that it's just a little bit easier on the eye. And so here you can see all of the green weeds in the brown field using NDVI. But how do we target these to be able to export them for an operation layer or for a spot spraying mission? So with the new feature, I can come in here now and I can right click and zoom in and right click on one of these pixels. So it's telling me that the value, the NDVI value here is 0.82. And then if I click off the weed, it's saying the NDVI value of a pixel that's not the weed is 0.17. And then as I kind of get closer, I can right click, I get a 0.3 value, 0.5, 0.6, and I get right on top of the weed at 0.8. So the green vegetation is reflecting an NDVI value of about 0.7 upwards. So it's nice being able to have this tool to see what exact NDVI value I'm getting off the weeds. Now I can come down here and adjust the histogram. So if I'm getting my weeds at about a 0.7, I can then dial this up. And you can see it changing right over here. I can use this bar as well. So let's go with a 0.6. Or about a 0.59. And kind of back out and see here. So now the NDVI layer has really just captured the green vegetation without capturing the rest of the brown ground. You can see that there. I'll just kind of dial this back so you can see it once more. So now I'm adjusting the NDVI to visualize everything, but I don't need everything. I only want to target the weeds. So I'm just going to dial in the NDVI back up to about a 0.6, or I can come in here and type it in. Now I've got those. So it's pretty helpful to have this pixel value tool right here. So now that I've identified my targets, I can come over here to operation and I will pre-fill the grid using an index layer, which will be my NDVI. So I'll have this boundary, I'll use NDVI, hit continue. We'll just call this an NDVI operation, and I am going to do this spot spraying mission in liters per hectare. I'm going to bump my cell size down to about 10 centimeters. And then I'm just going to adjust the rotation here of the grid. So it's perpendicular to how I would drive a tractor through the paddock. I'll hit continue. This is the index layer that I want to use, and I've already adjusted the histogram, so I'll hit continue there. And then with this option, the minimum visible pixels per cell, if I have a cell that has any amount of the pixels inside of it, I want that to be included in this operation layer, so that cell will get sprayed too. So I'm going to have it set at a 0% exclusion. And it's created 5 zones, but I'm only going to use 2 zones. So areas with weeds and areas without weeds. And I'm going to use the average value of each cell. So there's a lot of pixels inside each of these cells. It's going to average the NDVI values together and assign one value to that cell. And that's how it's going to separate it between with weeds and without weeds. So then I'll create the operation layer. And where there are weeds, I'll do 100 liters a hectare, and where there aren't, I'll do 0. So now I have an operation layer for a spot spraying mission where I've identified these green weeds in the brown paddock. And then I could come up here to export and export the operation. So there you have it. There's a small example of the Pix4Dfields pixel value ID tool. Small little change, but it does help you move through the analysis a bit more quickly. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments, or you can check out our website at horizonagtech.com.au.